Okay, so we're all facing these massive global problems that our current systems just can't seem to crack. But what if the solution isn't some new policy or a single piece of tech? What if it's a fundamental shift in how we actually work together? Well, today we're going to dive into a new framework for exactly that, the architecture of conscious collaboration. But before we can get to the solution, we've got to get real about the problem. And the core idea we're going to explore is that humanity has slammed into what you could call a competitive glass ceiling, a barrier we built ourselves, and it's holding all of us back. I mean, think about it for a second. Climate change, social inequality, ecological collapse. We have all the data. We have brilliant people working on these things. But making real progress at the scale we need feels, well, almost impossible. So what is the real reason our biggest problems are so stubbornly hard to solve together? Well, the idea is this. As a species, we've hit a developmental glass ceiling. The very same tribal, competitive instincts that helped us survive for thousands of years are now the exact things preventing us from solving today's deeply interconnected challenges. What was once our greatest strength has become our biggest weakness. This quote just gets right to the heart of it. We're bouncing off each other because we're all running on this old, subconscious programming. We're stuck in these deep-seated patterns of competition and self-interest, and we just can't seem to break through to that next level of cooperation that we so desperately need. So, if the old way is broken, what's the alternative? Well, the proposed solution is a really profound shift in how we even think about collaboration, and that brings us to this central concept, conscious collaboration. Just look at the contrast here on this slide. On the left, you've got traditional collaboration. It's often driven by ego, it's hierarchical, and it's all about those short-term wins. But conscious collaboration, totally different. It's aligned on shared values, it's built on trust and creating a safe space to contribute, and it prioritizes the long-term health of the whole system. Really, it's a fundamental shift from operating out of fear to operating out of trust. So let's put a pin in it and define it. This isn't just about being better at teamwork. It is an intentional process. It's about consciously choosing to align our values and build real, verifiable trust so we can finally move past our individual egos and self-interest to tackle these huge, shared problems that affect every single one of us. And when you make this shift, the result is incredibly powerful. You unlock synergy. This is that amazing state where the outcome is so much greater than the sum of its parts. It's not just about sharing a workload, it's about creating brand new possibilities that literally couldn't exist otherwise. This visual of the birds and an infinity loop, it just captures the feeling perfectly. Synergy is emergent value. It's that new, flowing potential that just shows up when relationships and timing and the shared purpose all click into place. It allows a group to achieve something no single person ever could on their own. Now, a new way of working. Well, it demands a completely new way of leading, right? You can't just plug the old top-down leadership styles into this new collaborative architecture and expect it to work. No way. It requires a total rethink of what a leader is and what a leader even does. This new model is called synergistic, symbiotic, collaborative leadership. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful, but every single word there is critical. It points to a kind of leadership that's focused on creating these mutually beneficial, symbiotic relationships. The core principles are regeneration and verifiable trust, with a goal that isn't profit or power, but interdependent flourishing for everyone and for the planet. I mean, just look at this shift in roles. The traditional leader is a commander, an ego-driven figure who maintains hierarchies and prioritizes power. A synergistic leader, on the other hand, acts more like a catalyst, a facilitator. Their job isn't to command and control, it's to unify, integrate, and harmonize relationships to serve the good of the whole. And one of the key traits of this new leader is adaptability. As this quote says, their leadership is fluid and responsive. They can be thinking about massive global systems one minute, and then in the next, zoom right in to empower local action, making sure both scales are working in perfect harmony. So we have the collaborative mindset, and we have the new leadership model. But how do you actually do this on a global scale? A leader like this needs the right tools to make it all happen, and that's where technology comes into the picture. This brings us to a really critical piece of the architecture, the synergy engine. You can think of it as the technological connective tissue for conscious collaboration, designed specifically to enable coordination on a planetary scale. And let's be super clear here. this is not just another project management app. The vision here is a foundational infrastructure, a systemic coordination backbone that can align countless separate efforts into one coherent global movement for regeneration.
So, how does it actually work? Let's walk through it. Imagine a huge global effort to reforest the planet. Step one is to connect. The engine brings everyone together. A big NGO in Europe, a government agency in Brazil, a tiny community group in Indonesia, all onto one platform. Step two is organize. It helps them coordinate their actions around that huge shared goal, like planting 1 trillion trees. Step three, accelerate. Using AI, it might spot that a planting technique in Indonesia is getting amazing results, and then share that insight across the whole network, which speeds up everyone's learning. And finally, step four, verify trust. Using tech like blockchain, it makes sure every tree planted is counted transparently. That builds real accountability and trust across the entire system.
And the role of AI here is really specific and really important. It's not about taking over. It's about augmenting our own human intelligence. It helps us see patterns we might miss, understand complex issues from lots of different angles, integrate feedback faster, and it can even sense when actions might be drifting towards unethical territory. It supports our judgment. It doesn't replace it.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. You've got the collaborative mindset, the synergistic leadership, and the AI-powered infrastructure. What does this all build towards? What's the ultimate vision for this regenerative future?
This image of evolution really captures the scale of the idea. This isn't just about getting better at group projects. The argument here is that this represents a fundamental, necessary leap in our collective development, a cognitive and cultural evolution for humanity itself. This slide offers such a powerful metaphor for our civilization. It frames our current state of just endless growth and extraction as a kind of extractive adolescence. The whole goal of this framework is to help us mature into a regenerative adulthood, where we finally learn to live symbiotically with our planet. Ultimately, what this is all about is transforming global collaboration from just a noble, often fuzzy idea into a tangible, replicable architecture. It's a system designed to connect people and organizations all over the world in a common, life-affirming cause. So, to sum it all up, this is the grand vision. The goal is to use this new architecture to restore our planet's health, to strengthen the bonds between us, to grow our collective intelligence, and to finally create a future where the flourishing of humanity and the flourishing of the Earth are exactly the same thing. And that brings us right back to where we started. Our old competitive habits have created this developmental glass ceiling that we keep bumping our heads against. The final question this framework leaves us with is a really hopeful one. Is this new architecture of conscious collaboration the pole we need to finally vault over it?